This is instructor Mark Dixon, and today I'm going to walk through the Project 1 overview, which is going to come up in Module 3 for submission. So to point out where to find the rubric in your assignment information, all of the rubrics for this class are going to be listed. Project 1 is the first one that I want to go through with you. So let's open that up. This is our rubric for this project. Now, much of the prompt for this and the process for how you're going to complete it is built into the Sumo web text, but even though it's built in, you want to make sure that you have fully addressed the prompt from whatever you download out of the Sumo web text. So you're going to want to look at this Project 1 guidelines and rubric to make sure that you're comfortable with what the project is asking you to do. So let's go through the scenario just to give you a baseline understanding. So you are the sales department manager for a US-based company that builds engines for the automotive manufacturing industry. Your company is considering diversifying into other business opportunities where your motors can be sold in order to bolster the company's portfolio and increase revenue. And based on your knowledge of the national sales landscape, your manager would like you to conduct preliminary research and prepare a presentation with your recommendation for opportunity in a new industry that will allow for this diversification through a new sales division and increased sales. You have been asked to make your presentation at the next stakeholder meeting, where you will address internal stakeholders from across the company, as well as external stakeholders such as customers, investors, and suppliers. As a preliminary step in developing this presentation, your manager would like to see an executive summary of your research findings and evaluate your decision modeling. So this class with these projects builds off of everything. So this prompt here is giving you an idea of what you're going to need to work it throughout the entire class. So at this step in your process, you're creating a summary that's going to give your audience an understanding of what's happening in your industry, what's happening in the new industry, and setting the stage for you to make a business case as to why diversification is needed. So you're going to complete the Project 1 worksheet in your Sumo web text, and you're going to submit it to me for feedback. So it's built out this way as far as defining what's happening and then researching what's going on in the industries and then comparing the two industries. So you're building it out into these three main categories. In week 1, we're going to be defining this problem in the Sumo web text. So based on your reading, it's going to look for you to determine what your initial new industry is going to be. That doesn't mean you can't change your mind later on, and you can be creative here. So what it is you're going to look, though, at what's happening in the automotive industry as a whole, and then you're going to say, well, I know that we have a need for diversification. We're going to want to figure out how we can move into another industry to capitalize on the growth or the trends that are happening there that complement what I'm doing in the automotive industry. So students have been very creative here. I had one student in the last section I taught that picked Disney as their new industry, which was very interesting. She was tying concepts from Disney into what was happening in the automotive industries. It was more of an entertainment type of thing. But you can be creative, or you can pick a very complementary type of industry. It can be another engine manufacturing industry. It could be another sales industry. It could be something like the electric and hybrid market. What you just want to do is find an industry that's going to interest you. So, because you're going to be doing a lot of research into both of these industries. And again, for now in week 1, you're going to set your baseline to give you an idea and a guiding post of what you're going to actually look at as far as your research process goes. If you're confused by this or you need some help as far as finding the industry, feel free to reach out to me, post to the general forum so your classmates can walk through it with you. Don't worry, you're not alone in this process, and we'll figure it out together. The one thing I do want to keep in mind is don't hyper-focus on businesses at this point. While the scenario has you working for an automotive manufacturing firm, it's not telling you what firm you are. It's just telling you really that you're in that particular industry. So when you're picking another industry, don't pick another business. Pick an industry that that business is operating in. That's going to help you stay broader so that you can look at trends as far as the industries themselves go versus hyper focusing into what's happening in a specific company. There's definitely tons of other classes as far as Southern New Hampshire University's course catalog goes where you would actually focus in on a specific business. This class is having you look broader at the industries themselves. So let's walk through defining the problem here. So again, what we're going to do is you're going to be looking at what's happening in the automotive manufacturing industry, and this is going to be based on a lot of the trending research you do. Again, use the Shapiro Library databases links that are provided in the Sumo web text to help you. IBIS World is one of them. MarketLine is another. But make sure that you're looking at researching trends. You're seeing what's happening as far as the industry. If it's shrinking, is it growing? Are customer trends and tastes changing? Is there regulation that's happening? You're going to use that to help you define what the problem is. So you're going to really want to think about backing into the defining the problem after you've done your full research process. Think of it as like an introduction or an abstract. You're going to really tease out what's going on so that your readers understand, okay, this is what I'm going to be reading about throughout the entire paper. And you're also going to want to include a broad description of what's happening in the automotive manufacturing industry. These are some potential metrics that you can use: total value of industry, sales by region, sales by fuel type. You're going to also want to look at trending. So look at these as two different things. Your description is really your defining characteristics and metrics related to the current state of that industry. The current trends in the automotive manufacturing market are really what's happening. So what's kind of shifting things? Is there a trend towards different types of motors being manufactured? Is there a customer preferences that are changing as far as vehicle color, features they're looking for, and even the types of vehicles that are being produced? You're really trying to give your audience a holistic view of what's happening in the industry, the current state, and where it might be going. Then you're also going to want to do a similar process through research on your new industry. So you're going to want to look at you're going to really ultimately be describing the overall attractiveness of this industry. Why might we as an automotive manufacturing firm want to go into this new industry? So you're going to do a lot of the same types of structure. You're going to look at different trending related to that industry, metrics. You're going to look at the characteristics and factors of competition. You're going to look at sales trends related to how successful this industry is. You're going to look at overall market trends. And then you're also going to use the Porter's 5 Forces model, which is built into the Sumo web text, to help you analyze the two industries together. Your Porter's 5 Forces analysis is going to, by default, compare your two industries. You're going to be looking at barriers to entrance in both of the industries and how they compare to each other. This formal comparison component of the prompt is where I'm looking for you to summarize your insights there. So don't just state, this is what this industry has going on, this is what this industry has going on. You want to say, based on that, my understanding is that this industry has lower barriers, barriers to entrance that might be more successful for our industry to move into. You want to draw insight from the comparison. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you summarize your findings related to this overall analysis. So this is a point that a lot of students lose points on. And it's because they're not taking the time to say, what are the main themes that I found throughout my analysis? And what do I want my audience to walk away remembering? So if there's some key point related to this analysis that you want to make sure your audience really hones in on, bring that back down into the summary and expand on it, making your business case as to, I want you to remember this because it's really critical to the diversification strategy that I'm looking to do. And again, remember that you're building off of this throughout. So in subsequent projects, you're also going to be doing a presentation on this and doing an executive summary as far as a briefing out to stakeholders, communicating what your decision is. So you're going to want to make sure that you're creating a justification and carrying that throughout the projects. So think about your summary as that way, as a baseline for you to do exactly that. So this is an executive summary report. It needs to be at least 3 to 4 pages. I don't penalize if you do anything more, but make sure you're not less than 3 to 4 pages. And you also want to follow APA citation style. So you want to make sure that the paper includes a title page using APA format, that you're using headers following the rubric so that you can guide your reader into different topics, and that you're also using in-text citations to support thoughts that are not your original ideas, and that you're also using a references list to show what you included as far as your research goes. There's some supporting materials built into the rubric here. So you have your template Word document. Again, you're going to get some of this out of what comes from the Sumo web text, but these are also the templates themselves. You have your Porter's Five Forces analysis. There's the 2 main databases, which are really good resources. It doesn't mean you have to just use these. You can use others, but these are great starting points. You've got IBIS World and MarketLine. You can use anything in the Shapiro library as well. You can also bring in outside sources as long as they're scholarly. And then remember that whatever you submit needs to address all of these topics. So you need to ensure you've defined your problem facing the automotive manufacturing industry. You've included a description of the U.S. automotive manufacturing industry. You've included current automotive market trends. You've described your new industry. You've included new trends impacting that new industry. You've completed a formal and full Porter's Five Forces analysis. And you can there's different approaches that Sumo is going to allow you to do. I like the one best where you actually take both industries and do side-by-side comparison. You're going to use your Porter's Five Forces analysis to draw out comparisons as well. So you're going to want to tie in and say, these are my observations related to this analysis. This is what I've gotten out of that. And then again, your summary of your findings, your key takeaways for the reader. Make sure that you've written your paper well, so do some proofing process. You can use the Writing Center for Sanu. You can use Grammarly.com. Just find a way to actually proof through and make sure that you catch all those little errors which can take away from the readability of your paper and the credibility of it. And then supporting with citations and a references list. So again, you're going to have a lot of this built in right through the Sumo web text. I'm bringing you over here now. So you have choosing your industry, defining the problem. All of the things that we just walked through are included in the Sumo web text. So let it guide you through the process. When you export it, just make sure that whatever you're submitting is following APA formatting requirements, and that you've met all of the requirements of the Project One guidelines and rubric. If you have any questions in the meantime, reach out. One of the announcements in week 3 will include some tips too on different pieces that a lot of students miss. But I'm here to support you the best I can, and good luck with this assignment. Thank you, everyone. Bye.